video may contain content parents may find unsuitable for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everybody, it's Hunger again, and welcome to another podcast stream. We're going to be playing some Minecraft here in a little bit. But I wanted to start off today's podcast by getting a little bit of ranting in about the Lorcana TCG launch that happened just yesterday, really. So give me a second here. I'm going to let everybody in the Discord know what's going on. Boom. Alright, there we go. And we're going to download and join. Get on into the realm. So, last time on the podcast, I did some pixel art, which I think turned out really well. And I wanted to go ahead and, do some more work on this building so that it's easier for people who aren't in creative mode to enjoy it. So anyway, but yeah. So anyway, let me wait for a few more people to get here before I get into my rant on Lorcana, because I got lots to say. Got a lot to say about it, because it kind of makes me mad. And I'll get into why here in a little bit. Alright. Oh, come on. Almost all the way over here. Jeez. I'm gonna go ahead and just there we go. Come on. Build in place is Minecraft's new name. Jeez. Oh, come on. Seriously, stop swaying around. Jeez. Alright. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I did that on the podcast last week. It turned out really well, I thought. Uh, yeah. So anyway, I wanted to to go ahead and get in a rant about the Lorcana TCG launch. So this one can only get better, right? So for those who are unfamiliar, Lorcana is a card game that was developed by a company called Ravensburger on behalf of Disney. So basically, it was a card game that was created as a way to facilitate a Disney trading card game. Yeah. So now Lorcana has sold out just about everywhere. It's had quite frankly, it's not because it's just a super successful launch. Because a lot of people would be like, "Oh yeah, they sold out. That means that that the launch was really successful, right?" No, I call BS on that. I don't think that selling out within a day or two of launching is a good thing. I really don't. I feel like that indicates that you have a poor understanding of your market. Case in point, so Magic the Gathering, the original trading card game, right? The granddaddy of them all. That game, when it did its first couple of sets, Alpha and Beta. Oh, hey, hi, Caps. So when Magic the Gathering did its first couple sets, Alpha and Beta, it printed them in short supply because the people who were making Magic the Gathering at the time didn't know how well received it would be. They were like, hey, it's a new thing. Nobody's ever done this before. We don't know how people are going to take to it. We're not going to print that much. So they didn't print a lot of the first two Magic the Gathering sets, Alpha and Beta. And Alpha and Beta were essentially the same set. It's just that Beta was printed a little differently than Alpha was. And that sets that followed it used the same printing style as Beta and sort of abandoned the printing style that Alpha was printed in. Okay? So again, when Magic the Gathering produced those first couple sets, they didn't have any market data to go on. Caps lock jump scare. Yeah, so they didn't know any better, right? So then Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Both came out with TCGs, and there were several other companies that did TCGs before Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Because people looked at Magic the Gathering in the 90s and said, oh, well, we could do that. There were a lot of companies that tried their hand at making a TCG during the 90s. There was a Doctor Who game, a Monty Python card game. There were tons and tons of TCGs during the 90s. There was a Marvel one. There was a Digimon card game. There was several different card games that happened during that era. But Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Both enjoyed a lot of success at their respective launches. And the main reason for that success was because they both had stupidly popular anime fueling the demand for the games. So, and again, it's something where I don't think that they necessarily could have anticipated the demand for it and prepared any differently. Now, fast forward to today, and we have had several trading card game launches recently that have been this way, where the game sells out immediately. Nobody can get a hold of it. Stuff is selling for 2 or 3 times what it's worth on the secondary market, which only increases the demand because of scalpers. Because scalpers are looking for it, and so it's not just the people who want to play it or want to collect it that's looking for it. It's the scalpers too. And like I said, it seems like all these trading card game companies looked at these launches from things like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering and said, oh, we're supposed to have shortages at launch. That's how trading card games work. And that's not a good idea. That's not a good business model to go off of, because what ends up happening with trading card games when there's a shortage like this is, I already mentioned that it brings scalpers into the market. And what happens then is people that want the game start going, well, I'm not going to pay for that, and they lose interest in it because they're not getting the product that they want when they want it and at the price they want to pay for it, so they just stop looking for the product. They're not going to be there when that first reprint happens. They're just going to go away, and it's been happening with a lot of games recently. Stuff like Battle Spirits Saga, Shadowverse, One Piece. These are all launches that went, quote unquote, really well as far as selling a lot of product. But then interest in the game, and particularly playing the game, dried up really quickly because there was not enough product to go around. So it's not a good tactic for building a card gaming community that will last over the long term. And, and a lot of these card game companies are just throwing up their hands going, oh, well, we couldn't have predicted this demand, but I call BS on that, because they definitely can predict that demand now because of a little thing called pre-ordering. Bandai, for example, Bandai forces American companies to pre-order at least 6 months ahead, because I'm covering the city below in shadow. Interesting. We could put some glowstone under this, but anyway, the put lights everywhere to keep mobs from spawning. Yeah. But anyway, they have pre-orders now. They have local game stores now. They have whole entire businesses that are dedicated to selling trading card games now. And these businesses pre-order trading card games, like I said, oftentimes months in advance, 3 to 6 months in advance sometimes. So when Ravensburger and Disney throw up their hands and go, oh, we couldn't possibly have predicted this kind of demand for Lorcana, BS. Because they were cutting pre-orders to distributors left and right. They knew that there was more demand than they were going to print for. They did this on purpose, and it's a stupid tactic. They should have delayed the game or just printed more. Like it's something where they should have known in advance by how many pre-orders they had that they needed to print more, and they didn't do it. So it's a deliberate thing to drum up false publicity, like where they can be like, oh, look, we sold out, we're really popular. But that type of false hype-based marketing is not worth losing your player base over, which is what happens with these games when they don't have enough cards to supply demand. Now, the Battle Spirits launch from Bandai is a little different because Bandai went out of their way to make sure they had enough Battle Spirits product. The problem with Battle Spirits is that there was absolutely no demand for it. There was a ton of demand for One Piece, and Bandai chose to launch Battle Spirits instead of printing more One Piece, which basically is going to doom both games at this point. One Piece, there's still a lot of demand for One Piece, don't get me wrong. But a lot of the playing community, a lot of the people who are actually interested in playing the game are gone. Our attendance for One Piece tournaments at the store has fallen. There's just not as many people wanting to actually play One Piece anymore because they can't get cards. It's a really sad situation. So yeah, like I said, I just wanted to kind of address this Lorcana thing. Lorcana is promising a reprint in September, but our store is only getting like 8 stupid boxes. Like that's not even enough to cover what they cut out of our pre-orders. Okay, like so the reprint that they've got coming up is a joke. So yeah, Lorcana product, even the stuff that's not actual cards, like the deck boxes and the sleeves, are going for 2-3 times their retail price online. It's absolutely stupid. Please don't pay scalper prices. Please don't. If you're that interested in the game, wait for the reprint. It'll happen. I am ranting right now. Solus voice chat comes later. God damn. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah. Yeah, I didn't forget about voice chat. I just wanted to get this rant in before I started it. Anyway. And I'm trying to close up my rant here. Anyway, but sorry about that. Anyway, but like I said, this whole artificial shortage thing in trading card games is getting really old. People are getting sick of it, and honestly, I don't blame people if they are not going to participate in some of these card games because of how difficult it is to get cards for them. And if those games die, then that should serve as a warning to other card companies that want to try similar tactics during their launches. You have the pre-orders, print to them. Look at your pre-orders, print those pre-orders, and print a little more than that, and then launch. That's what you do. It's not hard. But all these companies fail to do it. And I can't understand why, for the life of me. Anyway, now that the rant is out of the way, let me go ahead and open up voice chat, get some music going. We can really get this podcast off the ground. So, boom. All right. Alrighty then. There's some music. Alrighty. Okay, here we go. Alright, now we're opening it up to questions. What's up, guys?
What are frogs?
What are frogs?
Well, you see,
Frogs have no wings, but they can jump really high.
frogs don't have wings.
Just like grasshoppers.
Well, grasshoppers have wings.
that was my little joke. I thought I could sneak that one by.
Nah, man.
Wings.
Nah.
Just don't worry about
I'm a little loopy. I just heard 2 grown men discussing fucking how caught up they were with One Piece at the fucking clock out thing, and I was thinking, damn, wow, if this were a high school lunch line at my school, those kids would have been on the floor with their teeth kicked in.
Well, you see, things have changed a little bit since then.
Yeah, they sure have.
Because anime is a lot more popular now.
Yeah, it's just wild to me, Yeah.
Well, yeah, and the thing is,
it wasn't like, normal discussion. It was full on weeb shit discussion. You know how it be.
Yeah, back then, One Piece was being dubbed by 4Kids, so nobody cared about it.
Sanji did be rocking that lollipop.
Oh my god, it was the
sure was something.
Worst dub of all time. Jeez, man, few things can make me switch to subtitles faster than a 4Kids dub. Holy crap.
Ooh, Funimation did this funny thing where they introduced a character, Sabo.
Uh-huh.
And they switched to English dub right fucking before that, and I couldn't make it not English dub. It said it was unavailable. Yeah.
Ew.
What the fuck?
And that
Yuck.
entire bit of backstory, on top of not being something I was particularly really interested in at that point in the story, you know, to top it off with having to listen to,
Man.
to some of the arguably worst voices
Yeah.
I heard.
Yeah, no, it's pretty bad sometimes. Speaking of bad voices, Quince, you're roboting in and out.
Breaking up, dude.
Oh, sorry. I can mute while I'm low reception. Sorry.
That's okay.
Hunger, get down here and look at the chaos.
Am I causing chaos down there?
I'm gonna have to put up lights like everywhere. You can barely even see that tree, man. It's like pitch fucking black down.
Wow. That's crazy. Hang on. Hidoi. Alright, let me, Alright. Oh, man.
That glowstone's not gonna help.
No, I know it's not going to help down there. It'll help over here though. It's what's inside that counts. Anyway.
Like I'm trying to find a good spot I can put this stuff, but it's gonna look tacky as fuck if I put like the lights, like the one lights like all over the place, because if it's nighttime it'll just be like lit up in certain spots.
Right.
I mean, granted, we don't really switch the time like ever.
Right. Yeah, because nighttime sucks, and it brings out like annoying little pieces of shit that interfere with your crafting and shit, and your mining.
It doesn't do the like whatever they're called, the phantoms. We don't have to worry about those anymore.
Because fuck those things.
Fuck those guys.
I was gonna work on an Ender Pearl golf course later or today, and kind of didn't, so I could actually then just fuck with the arrows. Dude, this bow is cool as fuck. You gotta try this.
Oh. Yeah, no, I saw you shooting it earlier.
Yeah, it's...
Oh yeah, he has like this auto aim thing going on.
Yeah, and it's based off of your, but it's based off of your, like, if you don't have the tag for it, I can still target you. So, and that's really all it takes, is like, I just give you the tag and then you're able to auto aim. But, this way I can actually still target you at the moment. Even though you're invincible, like, the arrows will still follow your character around.
Yeah.
Where are you at? Here, let me find you.
Just putting up some glowstone. Doing the Lord's work.
There's this weird glitch going on right now with, like, if you're wearing a Elytra in creative, like, you have slow fall.
Oh.
It's so fucking weird. Like, even when I'm, like, not, or even when I'm, like, locked in the air, it'll still show me falling, like, or using the Elytra.
Interesting.
And then, you know, because they can't be bothered to fix their fucking mistakes, they're like, oh, hey, we're putting the next update, we're mixing it with our 1.20.30 update as well. So it's like, we've got to wait till the the end of this fucking month to get an actual update for the game. Where they're,
Yeah.
bugged. Like the electric glitch is fucking weird. Like, and I know this is just happening to me. Like they've known about this for a month now.
Yeah.
But then we're talking about Mojang here. It takes fucking years to fix bugs that they've known about.
Yeah. Ah, this is exciting.
This is so much fun. Like, I'm barely shooting these arrows. Like, I'm just like, not like pulling
Just
back.
like, eh.
No. Just letting them drop. Like, literally just letting them drop and just watching them like go off like fucking homing missiles.
Right. Pretty great.
Ooh, I actually found a challenge target. Those little block dragon things that I made, little snake, sky snakes. They're really hard to hit with this arrow. Oh, it's because it keeps targeting all the little pieces it creates. Okay, that sucks.
So it has like a natural defense against those types of arrows.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
it's
yeah.
kind of like when you have
Oh,
like
never mind, I can fit.
it's kind of like when you have like heat-seeking missiles and they're shooting your missiles, and then the missile that you shoot out like shoots off these little flares that draw the attention of the heat-seeking missiles so that the missile can keep going. You know.
Yeah.
You know, that type of shit.
Yeah, it's like fire and countermeasures.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you
Oh man.
I like what you did to which one is this, Ophelia?
Yeah. Or Velia.
I mean, it's the same thing. Like
Yeah.
like, depending on which version of the game you're playing.
Yeah. But yeah, I ended up because like the wool palettes alone weren't giving me all the different color gradations I needed, so I ended up using some sandstone and honey blocks, I think.
Huh.
Yeah,
to
like if you
finish out
like,
the colors.
I was gonna say if you would have checked out my like the Rosemont that I did, like you'll see like I used 3 different color palettes for like red and like red, green. They all like all the colors here. They're all like 3 or 4 different colors actually.
Oh wow, yeah. But yeah, eventually I'd like to do some more pixel art, but I wanted to do work on the tower today, specifically. That and rant about shitty TCG launches, but you know. Because I'm getting really sick of these companies having these artificial shortages and then going, "Oh, we had no idea. We just had no way of knowing that there'd be this much demand." It's like, really, dumbass. Yeah. Like, I don't know when pre-orders stopped being the thing that you used to determine how much you were going to print. You know, like when did people decide that wasn't how that was supposed to work? Like, you know, if you have pre-orders for 100,000 books, you should print at least 100,000 books. You shouldn't be like, oh, let's print 80,000 and then tell the rest of the pre-orders to fuck off. Like, that makes no sense. Like I've had distributors tell me we're sold out of pre-orders. How? It's a pre-order. Like, you're supposed to be telling people how many to make. You know, that's what pre-orders are supposed to be for. Like, You know, but like people in the modern market have decided, oh no, a pre-order is supposed to be for just you know, claiming, what the, a part of the supply, and we're just going to print whatever we print, and it's like, what the frick is the rationale behind that? It's like, use the pre-order data to determine how much you should be printing. It's not hard. I know for a fact there are companies that do that. Yeah. Because Bushiroad does that shit. And you know what Bushiroad doesn't have? Shitty card launches with no freaking product available. Yeah, I don't know. It's just... Yes, there are some sets that sell out, but again, they sell out because they're popular sets, and not because they didn't print enough to cover pre-orders, So yeah, it's just to me, there's kind of a disconnect between some of these modern TCG and book printing companies. And I get it. Back a year or two ago, there were some big supply problems, and I think there still are in a few sectors. But if you can't print the shit on time, then you need to not launch it when you need to delay the launch. It's going to be a much smoother launch if it gets delayed and you wait for supply to catch up than if you just crap it out there and then try to play catch up later. Anyway. But yeah, I don't know. Just but yeah, because, and I guess what really brought this on is that I spent the first hour or so at work today just fielding nonstop phone calls. Do you have any Lorcana? Do you have any Lorcana? I had one guy who called, didn't even get the fucking name of the product right. It's like, do you have any Lorcoma? No. It's like, and that's how you know it's just somebody who wants to buy it and resell it, Yeah.
Bro, do you have a glaucoma?
Yeah. Do you have any glaucoma? Need it. Oh man, yeah. But yeah. It's like, bruh. But yeah, these types of short-sold things don't make money for the company doing it. They make money for the scalpers. That's the only people they're making tons of money for right now, is the people selling it at 2-3 times the original price. Those people are making bank right now. Everybody else is getting the shit fucked out of them by this fucking shortage. So yeah. And these freaking TCG companies need to stop acting like that's the normal thing to do, like that's the best thing to do when you're launching a TCG. Yeah.
Well, the best you can hope for is that all these speculators turned out to be wrong, and they don't get jack shit for that down the road.
Well, that's the thing is, there are people who will lose their ass on this game. Like there are people who will finally find a bunch of product and they'll buy it, and then they'll realize, oh, the reason I was able to find all this product was because there was just a reprint, and then they will proceed to lose the shit out of their ass, because nobody wants to buy it at any more than what they paid for it, So there will be people
shit out of their ass.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they that shit happened with Pokemon, and it was funny too because because a few years ago, Pokemon was having some supply problems like this, because one of the Paul brothers decided to go on YouTube and do a box opening, and they opened this box and they pulled like a $400 Pokemon card, and millions of people watched that video and went, "Oh, I could do that. That seems easy," So Pokemon
news at 11.
Yeah, so Pokemon started having those same types of supply problems. Well, my sister, being somebody who runs a store that sells card game product, she's part of various like Facebook groups and stuff like that online. Facebook groups, Discord, servers, and so she was on one of her Facebook groups. What's up?
Zombies.
Oh.
All my villagers are getting eaten.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
That's what I was upset about.
Oh,
like,
okay. I didn't realize there was anybody any villagers down there getting eaten. You were talking about, oh, you can't see the tree. Like
well, that's what I was talking about. With all the shadows and shit down here, like zombies are popping up. I just had a villager just get eaten.
Oh shit. Wow.
Like that's what I was hearing. Was like one of my villagers. Like I hear him. Like I look over and he's like turned into a zombie.
Oh, gross.
And then he was getting. Then there was another guy that was getting chased by him.
Yeah.
He's dead now.
Gross.
That was Billy. Billy is now a zombie.
Oh no.
Well, now Billy's dead, but he was a zombie from it.
Billy's dead. Oh man, sorry about that. I will see what I can do to help out.
What you could do is you could come down here. You could take this light block 15 block from me, and then you can put it in places where it's very, very, very dark.
Okay. Give me a second. Ah. All right. Well, let me do this real quick then. Okay. All right. Where are you at?
Right next to the pink tree, or well, used to be pink.
Oh. Oh, there is kind of a village over here, isn't there? Jeez.
Yeah. Take this block.
I'm trying. There we go.
Oh, can you now see the 15s?
Yeah, I can see them now. Alright, so how do I... Oh. Okay. So I can see these, but other people won't be able to, right?
Exactly. And then when you switch out to, if you switch to another block, you won't be able to see it anymore.
Okay.
But it's just so I can keep like some of these spots from getting too zombie heavy, because zombies suck.
Right.
And they will get everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty dark here.
Let's see, Alright, I need another one of these. Teleport me to there.
Oh, creeper! Oh man!
He blowed up.
We're just shedding a little light on the subject. Oh, I didn't notice this tower before.
Only, do you really? I've never seen a cat and mouse
Oh, my
here
little
before.
lookout tower.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's
I
nice.
made that.
The lights down here. Sorry,
Jesus Christ.
that's a lot of light.
They look like fucking glowing dandelions.
Yeah, when you actually see how this place is lit up, it's kind of funny. Like when you go look inside your castle for a bit, like look at the floor.
Oh man.
Like your floor is literally like a layer of light blocks.
Oh jeez.
Now you know.
It's funny because I'm putting light blocks and it's like cutting the vines when I put them there.
Yeah, they still count as like full blocks. Sadly.
Can they block people from moving, or?
No,
Okay. That's
no,
good.
they're past blocks, but yeah, like I don't know, like it with the way it seems like the shadows get fucking heavy quick,
Mm-hmm.
like because like over here, like against the wall of your castle and shit, you can see like no lights at all, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like, man, there's not even really a reason for it to be that fucking dark. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let's fix that. Row of lights.
Oh, what happened here? Look at that. This is 0.
Oh yeah, if you click on it twice, it'll switch from 15 to a 0. You can keep clicking on it to change how
Okay.
bright the light bulbs are.
Okay, yeah, I noticed. Thanks.
Did you try casting Mage Light several consecutive times?
Actually, I can cast a Mage Light spell. Let me see. Fill. Negative 10. Negative 10. Positive 10. Positive 10. Positive 10. Light block.
Go. Just,
I know he's doing wizard shit because he's pulling out the numbers.
Block light level equals 15. Place air.
there we go.
Lit up.
There we go. Sorry, I had to.
That tree is lit.
Oh, wow. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing. Holy crap.
That's how I had to light up. That's actually how I lit up the caves down where you have all your other Final Fantasy art.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like
Very
that's
cool.
actually how I lit it up. I just filled all the air with light blocks instead.
Wow. Very cool.
But yeah, this is. I feel like light blocks are, well, next to like the command blocks, are like the second best technical blocks in the game
Mhm.
because of how fucking useful they really are.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to spend this time putting torches up everywhere?
All right. Man, I keep accidentally double striking these. Like,
I blame Java for that.
shit.
I blame Java for that because back before because Java Edition didn't have light blocks at one point. This used to be a Bedrock exclusive, but at one point they had it set up where
Really,
you didn't
bitch?
even have to press like a button to summon like the light block as it is, and it would stay like that. And when they gave you the choice in Java Edition, they changed the mechanics of the light block and just
Mother-
ported it over.
Fuck. I'm trying to place these things fucking quickly, and they're like, nah, fam, that's not how we roll.
Hold up.
Oh my god, stop! Shit! Stop drifting away from the wall when I'm trying to place shit. Put the thing on the wall, god! It's fucking light blocks, man. What the? Oops. I think I hit a... There. Yeah, I did not mean to get your villagers eaten, and I am apologizing about that.
Oh, that's fine. I taught you how to use a block. That's actually more helpful.
Nice, powerful light block. Because they made it to where, like, mobs don't spawn except in, like, super duper low darkness, right? Like...
Yeah, it has to be like a light level of like 1 or some shit. Like it's like it has to be like really dark, but at the same time, it's like there's spots like if there's even like just like a tiny little bit that's like even that much, they will fucking spawn. And I do like a lot of my teleporter over here, like my mob farm thing, does a lot of the heavy lifting for us, but at the same time, it's like they still show up.
Right.
Like if it didn't break a bunch of things in our world, I'd be like, well, we could just put it on peaceful at this point. But it would break so much. It would break a lot of things. Like all of our mob farms, so that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was using the lights too for specific spots, like at night. Like when you're walking downtown, I have like the chicken sign. It's completely surrounded by the lights, so it looks like it's illuminated. Solus, get in the game so I can shoot you.
Oh, man.
Like, I've even been looking up, like, some of the rarest death messages in the game and how to obtain them. And, like one of them I found was, like, getting killed by a fallen block, which, like, not an entity like a stalactite, anything like that, Matt. Like, it actually says you're killed by a falling block. And, like, the way they said this, like, the setup for it was just so, like, weird that, that it seems like it's gonna be one of those things that I'm gonna have to make a suicide move for.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
So what I need to do is have one where it's where when you get I need to have one set up where it's like when you enter the booth, it basically shoots you like a rocket straight upwards into a stalactite that's drooping down. Because falling on one's easy, but actually like getting one lodged in your forehead, that's a skill.
Wait, what?
Oh, I was talking about new suicide moves I gotta make.
Yeah.
Oh.
More dumb ways to die.
And also how that you gotta get in the game so I can shoot you. Solus. You need to be killed by my arrows.
Special arrows of awesomeness.
Dude, it's fun watching some of these. Like, they double back. Like I've had some of my arrows like they boomerang, and it's really fucking cool to watch it do that.
Uh-huh.
Also makes a hell of a mess. Because now there's fucking mob items and stuff all over the map.
Oh man.
So earlier today I was watching Carney X on YouTube, and he was giving away a bunch of like free Digimon merch. Sadly, I didn't get anything because you had to sign up for this one website. But yeah, he was giving away like not just like packs of Digimon cards, but he was also giving away like the little Dim Vital bracelets. He was giving away copies of like Digimon Survive and everything. And
Oh wow.
yeah, I wanted that.
Damn.
Like that's what I was trying to enter to win, was a copy of Survive for myself, because I still don't have the game. I'd play it, like I would definitely play it, but
Yeah.
I just it's a $60 game. It's like I don't know if I'll buy it. If I can get it for free.
Yeah. You know, Survive was really good. You know, I mean, it has its issues. I get why people were saying, "Oh, it's too story based," but the thing is, there are there's plenty of points where like they have a system in place where if the story's getting on your nerves, you could just sit there and do like random battles. Like it's not a like just grind for a while. It's not a big deal. Yeah.
We've entered the age where nobody actually wants to play the game that they're given.
Yeah.
Let's look at Pokemon and all the fucking excuses that VGC tries to make.
Oh my god, yeah, all those people whining about having to actually play the game instead of just genning their mons for VGC. Oh, you mean I have to play? Ugh.
See,
Oh, god damn it. No.
See, the thing that upsets me about this whole thing is and I
Imagine
it's
generating
like,
half the bonds. Ugh.
like I said, it's like they've basically ruined the sport for everybody. It's like everybody else who's looking at this game as an outsider, it's like, well, there's no reason to want to compete. These guys are all cheaters, and they don't see it like that. It's like, well, if they want to get into if I want to get into VGC, I should just be able to pick up a Pokemon card and play. But
Right.
they've pretty much gate kept it to the point where it's like the only people that play VGC anymore are these hardcore fucking tryhards that just they number crunch all this shit. They don't want anybody else to fucking it doesn't feel like Pokemon to them. Like
Right.
fucking what's his face? Pokemon challenges even like he's fucking convinced all of his fucking fanboys that they shouldn't even need to use or they shouldn't even have to play Nuzlocke the way that they were intended, because they should all have like fucking rare candies and shit hacked into the game. It's like people even these
Yeah, don't get me started on fucking Pokemon challenges.
yeah, it's
Fucking
like
hate that guy.
yeah, do these people even like fucking Pokemon? Like it feels like they just found like one of the easiest fucking niches to get an audience for, and they were like, well, hey, you know, this seems pretty easy. Here's a bunch of suckers. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like they actually care about Pokemon itself so much as they do the
Right.
you know.
I mean, seriously, the whole point of a Nuzlocke is to make the game more difficult because Pokemon games are notoriously easy. So why would you go out of your way to be like, oh, I'm going to do a Nuzlocke, but I'm going to gen in a bunch of rare candies to make it easier on myself? It's like, that defeats the purpose of a Nuzlocke.
Bro, you don't understand. It saves me the tedium of having to actually battle and bond to the mons that I'm going to be using for this playthrough.
Right.
Yeah,
I nuzlocked a lot of Pokemon games. I even nuzlocked this ROM hack of
Me too. It's a fun and perfectly valid way to enjoy the game. It's just people got all try hard about it, and now look at how they play the game. You know.
yeah,
yeah,
like,
I even
like
nuzlocked,
honestly, you want me to be like
oh,
the best way I can put it is they've literally turned Nuzlocks, which are the most soulful thing that the community could have come up with, and made them fucking soulless.
Yeah.
No offense.
Precisely. Again, are you surprised with this community?
No, but I want to be. Like,
I understand that
Yeah.
feeling.
I want to have faith in humanity, but then humanity goes and does stupid shit.
right?
We gotta cut our losses at some point, you know?
Right.
So,
Like, you know, this is why people like Nazis exist with their freaking eugenics and shit. Like, you know, like it's no, I'm not saying that it's a good thing. I'm just saying that that's why people like that agree, because they get sick of all the dumb people, and they're like, we need to do something to weed some of these people out, you know? Like, and I'm not saying that they went about it the right way, but I'm just saying, like, that's, I can see how these movements gain popularity, you know, you know, when they come about, you know. Because it wasn't like all the Germans were just like, oh no, we shouldn't be doing that. And it was just like a few guys going, yeah, kill them, you know, like, it was like almost everybody going, yeah, kill them all, you know.
well, no, that was because of propaganda. I mean, they were
right, but there was a lot of propaganda to it as well. But what I'm saying is that, you know, like, propaganda works better when you're starting from a basis of these people already kind of believe this shit, you know. So, like I said, when you start from, hey, you know, your lives are difficult, and we think these people are doing it, you know, like, you know, it's a lot easier to get people behind you, you know. So,
but you can't weed out every idiot.
No, like, you can't weed out all the idiots. Like that, that was the point of eugenics, was trying to weed out the idiots. They were saying, hey, basically the whole idea of eugenics, and there were people in America that supported this before the Nazi thing happened. Like, after the Nazi thing happened, we're like, maybe, because Nazis went like all in on it, and we're like, maybe that's not a great idea if the Nazis like it, you know. But basically, the whole idea of eugenics was, let's take the people who in society who are terrible, you know, like the people who are like underachievers, you know, like have low IQ scores, you know, commit crimes, shit like that, and just like castrate them all, you know, like, and make it to where they can't reproduce, so that the people that are produced are better quality. You know, that was the idea of eugenics, was to just, you know, get rid of, like, not get rid of the people, like, by killing them. At least not that. At least that wasn't how it was originally set up. But to basically make it to where the worst people aren't reproducing and making more of themselves.
It was taking the selective breeding applications we've been doing with animals for, you know, a pretty hot dang long minute, and being like, well, what if we did that?
Right, and like I said, you know, it's...
Yeah, there's a lot more to it.
There's a lot of human rights issues involved with it, like, you know, like forcing people to get castrated and shit like that, which is, you know, like, not good. But like I said, I'm not saying that it was a good idea in any way, but I'm just saying that, like, I can understand how an idea like that would gain some popularity because of the dumbassery that we have to deal with today.
You know. As a kid, that idea grew in my head organically.
Yeah.
Like, I had to be told that was eugenics and that was a bad concept.
Right.
I should probably think about something else.
Right. Well, it's like on that episode of South Park where Kyle writes that report about, sending all the homeless people to the moon.
Oh yeah, I remember
that. Like,
I mean, it says a lot
his
about
parents
the
are
environment,
horrified because
yeah.
they kind of planted the seeds for the ideas in his head, Like,
Yeah.
That's why you shouldn't take having children lightly.
right.
Well, among many, many other reasons.
Bill Burr has a really great stand-up bit about having children. And he's basically, like, talking about, like, like how people will, like, have, like, a bunch of loser, unproductive, dumbass kids, and then, like, keep making more. It's like, stop making that guy. Stop making that guy that's in front of me in traffic, and just like.
We don't need any more of those.
Yeah, it's like how many kids you got to make before you realize you're not going to get a good one. You're not going to make somebody that's going to invent anything. Like, you're not going to make anybody that's going to better the species. You're just going to make more of that guy that's standing in front of me at the fast food restaurant, going, "Oh, gee, what do I want?" But yeah, no, the bit itself was pretty funny. But yeah, like, just like,
all you can do is try and teach people who will listen and try and get the fuck away from people who won't,
Right. Well, and unfortunately, like, in today's climate, you've got all of these people that are falling into these cult-like groups, where you've got these, cult of personality deals going on where, these people are, oh, don't listen to your friends and family when they tell you that everything we're saying is lies. Only listen to us. We're the good guys. Don't trust anybody else.
We, the people making money off of your dollar.
Right.
You can trust us.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, give us more of your money. Like, just like. These people, and there's so many of these people that are just like, okay, like, and it drives me insane. Like, just because I have to watch my friends and my family members go on about how they wholeheartedly believe these lies that they're being told by these people, and and when I try to correct them and be like, hey, that's not true, they're like, oh, that's fake news, or that's freaking, and it's just like, listen, like, this is like, like, testimony was done before Congress and shit, and it was people from their own side testifying, and they're like, no, it's like, I watched it live. Just, like, they're basically like, don't believe what you saw with your own eyes, believe that shit I read on Facebook last week. I'm just like,
obviously that has validity in the face of
like,
a cohesive and intelligent argument.
Yeah, I just, but yeah, this is the type of conversation I'm always having, and so, like, I try to avoid talking about, like, things like that with my friends and family, but, like, but then I worry about them because, like, because when I avoid it, I'm not correcting them, and so all they're hearing is the echo chamber, telling them that that these whack jobs are right, like.
Yep. Oh, he's just saying what they said he was gonna say.
Yeah, like, it's just
the truth.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It drives me insane sometimes. Like, and I'm not trying to get all political here. That's why I'm not, like, mentioning names or.
Yeah, it's just hard not to be a downer when you gotta deal with people not doing their.
Yeah, well,
not doing their best to use even a fraction of their brain.
I have had people with a straight face try to quote to me, like, conspiracy theories and whatnot that they've read online about shit that I could disprove in, like, 2 minutes on Google. Like, and it's like, bruh.
Yeah, but they won't hear it.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to do their own research. Like, there was this guy who came into the store, and he was trying to tell me that it's called COVID-19. It was called COVID-19 because there were all these other COVIDs before it, and that one of those COVIDs was the Spanish flu that happened like way back in the early 1900s.
Where on earth?
And I'm like, no, that's not how that works. It's called COVID-19 because that's when it was discovered. And he's like, no, COVID-19 was the scientific name, and then it stuck, and like all this other crap, and like, you know, the scientific name for COVID-19, for those who don't know, is SARS-CoV-2.
Yep.
You know, it's more closely related to the SARS epidemic than it was to the Spanish flu, and even then, it's loosely related at best. You know, like, you know, and it's just something where, but people believe this shit. They believe this crap wholeheartedly, and it breaks my heart, you know, because a lot of these people are Christians, and I feel like they're being targeted because they have a heart that's ready to believe, you know? Like, they're being targeted because of their faith. They're like, oh, this guy's a sucker who believes in an imaginary skyman, so let's go target him and get him to believe in this other crap, you know? And I hate that. I hate that Christians are being victimized and taken advantage of like that, you know? Like, because at their core, most Christians are good people. It's just that they're being brainwashed with these lies and this nonsense and led to believe this dumb crap, you know?
Yeah, ultimately that was the point of it all. Like, good old JC over here, my buddy,
you know, but
died on the cross, you know. But yeah, all that ultimately was about, you know, being good to other people. So yeah,
exactly.
I understand.
Jesus says, you know, love thy neighbor. You know, like, you know, like he basically said, yeah, listen, you don't have to worry about all these complicated commandments and stuff. Just, you know, love each other. You know, and like, you know, not in a creepy way, but, you know, just. Like,
yeah, and seeing that as a weakness or something to take advantage of in others it's really sad and pathetic and all that.
Right, and you know, it's something where there's just something wrong with people that try to do that type of stuff. You know, it's like when you listen to those scammer channels. You know, like the scammer payback channels where they're like, you know, talking to phone scammers, and the scammers think they're talking to an old person, and they're like, "Oh, you remind me of my old grandmother," you know, and it's like,
you are not supposed to redeem the card.
Yeah, you know,
fucking bitch.
But yeah, like, you know, they act like they're just, you know, so sweet, and then and it's all a fucking act just to get these people to let their guard down so they can take their money, and it's sickening, you know. So,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, well, that's why, you know, when you're a kid and they teach you not to trust strangers, that's more what they mean. Just know that someone could be out to get you just for the sake of being out to get you. And that's just how it be sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they just want your money, and those are the nice ones. You know, like, you know, some of them want to get you in the back of the van and do horrible things to your anus. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, just
this facts.
Right?
Not an ideal scenario.
Right? Like, it's like that old joke. It's and this is a terrible joke, by the way, which is why I'm going to say it. Basically, it's a priest and a rabbi are sitting together on a bench in the park, and a little boy walks by, and the priest turns to the rabbi and he says, "Hey, let's fuck him." And the rabbi turns to the priest and he says, "Out of what?" So,
bruh.
So yeah, so that was a terrible joke in so many ways. But yeah,
I don't know. I've always felt super awkward around clergymen. I don't like the idea of a sanctimonious old man who thinks he's holier than thou. You know,
yeah, like,
I get that that's the point, but also I wasn't really into that vibe. So I don't think I've met a priest that I've liked, honestly.
You know, there's a lot of priests and pastors and people like them that really give off that used car salesman vibe. You know, like Like, oh boy, have I got the deal for you. We're gonna get you into a into a 0 AD Jesus, and it's gonna,
What?
and like, it's just this this idea, that like that these guys kind of have that attitude about it, just it's such a turnoff to so many people. Like it just chases people away in droves, and they're like, hey, where you going? Like I've met a few pastors that I really liked, and I was like, this guy's like, he doesn't have that used car salesman vibe. He knows what he's doing. He's got his shit right. There's been a few guys like that I've met, but let me tell you, they're few and far between. Like, they are definitely like a minority, in my experience anyway.
Yeah.
Like, they're not the type of people that you can go out to any church and see on a Sunday. Like, like I said, if you just go to a random church on any given Sunday, you are probably good 8 out of 10 probably going to run into one of the used car salesmen on the pulpit. Like, that's, it's sad, but that's how I feel about it. My mom's like, why do you want to go to church? I'm like, because every time I go to church, it's like they're trying to do the bread and the fish sermon. Like, give us money, it's kind of whacked, like.
Alright, I'm going to let you gamers go. I think my internet's about to shit itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I went to.
Okay, I love you. Bye bye.
Thanks, Caps. Appreciate it. See you later, Quint. But anyway, so I went to church one time, and they did the bread the fish sermon, right? Which is like church secret code for you should give us money, And then right after they finish the bread and the fish story, they have this woman come out, and she does this rendition of this song called "What If I Give All I Have." And it's about the little boy who gave his fish to Jesus, and it's just like, oh my gosh, now there's a song about it. Can you, like...
Oh, that's... Yeah.
It's just... why not just sing "In the Arms of an Angel" while you're at it, just...
Right. Oh,
oh, man. Yeah, no, like I said, it's just...
Don't say that. That song, like, the likelihood of that song actually popping up at one of those grows more and more by the day.
Oh, I know.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just... honestly, the best use I've ever seen for that song has got to be John Oliver's speech for Jon Stewart getting the Mark Twain Award. If you haven't seen this amazing piece of television, you should give it a watch. But basically, I'll set the stage for you. So you get so Jon Stewart a year or two ago got the Mark Twain Award. It's a very prestigious award for in journalism and whatnot. And so anyway, Jon Stewart was supposed to receive the award, and there were all kinds of celebrities that basically showed up to basically give speeches, like kind of congratulating him for getting this award. It's a whole big show, right? They had like Dave Chappelle and all these other personalities from The Daily Show and Comedy Central, basically wishing John well and congratulating him on getting this award, right? So they have all this stuff going on, and then John Oliver shows up, and he's not there in person. He's like live via like satellite, or he's like playing a pre-recorded tape, that he recorded in advance or whatever. Anyway, but he's on the screen, right? Instead of being there in person, and and basically the whole premise of his speech is that he's like, there's no way that Jon Stewart would willingly allow himself to be put up in front of that many people and have those same people gush about him, for over 2 hours. So I can only assume that he's dead. And he just goes on about how Jon is definitely dead. Jon's just sitting in the audience laughing his ass off at this, and he's like, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk about my good, dearly departed friend Jon Stewart, while some sad music plays in the background, and he specifically mentions "In the Arms of an Angel," and he's like, it could be any sad song, but ideally the sad dog one, And he's just, and they actually start playing it, like In the Arms of an Angel, and he starts, like, basically delivering this eulogy. It's just fantastic. But, anyway, if you give a chance, you should give it a watch.
I can't even lie, like, them playing that song while a fucking tithe thing passes through the aisles, I can picture that
I can see it happening, yeah. See it happening.
In the arms of an angel. And then they have, like, on the fucking backgrounds, like, they have, like, a fucking projector screen on the back, and it just shows, like, I don't know, like, just all those random fucking, like, starving children and stuff. It's like, I'm not going to go to any of these kids.
No, like, have you ever heard Sam Kinnison's bit on those starving kids in the commercials?
No.
So Sam Kinison, legendary comic Sam Kinison, has this bit about those commercials, and he's like, I watch those commercials, and I'm always so sad. I'm like, man, that's really sad. I mean, the film crew probably could have given him a sandwich.
Right?
Like, he's sitting there talking about, he's like, they got a film crew out there and a director, and the director's like, don't give him any food yet! Look hungry! Just, like, because Sam Kinison, like, his thing when he was doing his stand-up bits was he was always, like, screaming into the microphone.
Yeah.
So,
oh, yeah.
So he's like, and then he's like, I'll tell you what you want to do if you want to improve the situation in the lives of those people starving in Africa. He's like, stop sending them food. Don't give them another bite. He's like, and then you send somebody over there to be like, hey, buddy. Hey, we were all thinking, we've been coming out here for a few decades now, bringing the food, and we were all wondering, why don't you just go where the food is? You live in a desert! He's like, we have deserts here in America, you just don't live in them, assholes! But yeah, no, it's so, like, I get it. They can't really just relocate, but he raises some really interesting points during that stand-up bit.
Hunter, I like how you've managed to put your banner thing, or the one thing, you put it right at cloud level.
Yeah,
like walking around this right at the cloud level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty great. Oh, man. Alright, well, I think I've scared everybody away now. So...
Yay!
Huzzah!
Oh, wait, we got a button for that.
Yeah, right?
Huzzah!
Oh, man. Yeah, maybe they went to maybe they just left to go watch that Sam Kinison bit, or the John Oliver one of the two. They're very talented, very funny, both of them. Sam Kinison was really good at using his voice, though, like with making the yelling and screaming that he would do during his bits. Yeah.
Yeah. Rest in pepperonis.
Right. You know, I was actually reading an article just before the stream, actually. You know, so, you know, right now we're having this issue with lithium-ion batteries, right? You know, we have these lithium-ion batteries, but they're unstable and they like to explode, and you know, and so apparently a group of people at a university, like, you know, have you know, like a lot of these great scientific discoveries happen at these university laboratories these days. So there's a laboratory at a university, and they have been playing with sulfur in batteries because you know, sulfur has some properties that make it good for batteries, and it doesn't have a lot of the negative properties that lithium-ion batteries do. So they were playing around with because the problem with sulfur batteries is that they degrade really fast, right? So they don't last as long as lithium-ion batteries do. Well, they were playing around with sulfur and, like, you know, changing like different chemicals and you know, trying to come up with a sulfur combination that lasted longer. And they managed, kind of by accident, to get this sulfur in a state where it doesn't degrade.
That's weird.
And basically, they ran these they did it over 100 times to make sure they didn't just get it on a fluke, right? They like replicated the same shit 100 times just to make sure that it wasn't just some freak accident. And they kept getting the same result. And anyway, once like with this type of sulfur battery, they ran it through 4,000 recharge cycles, and there was no sign of degradation. In other words, it didn't develop a charge memory. It didn't start, you know, it didn't start charging less over time. And these sulfur batteries are way more energy dense than lithium-ion batteries are, so they can be the same size or smaller and have a much longer battery life.
Yeah, I mean,
so
the big issues that a lot of these battery developers have been having is that battery tech hasn't really advanced much in the past several hundred years.
Yeah, so, you know, and the thing is, batteries actually have advanced quite a bit recently. It's just something that a lot of people haven't really taken notice of, and that a lot of commercially available batteries aren't using a lot of the new tech that's coming out. Like, I remember a while back there was a news story about a group of university students who were working on a battery that you could recharge by peeing into it. You know, because it was using urine as like one of the like basically instead of battery acid. You know,
I say we bring back the ancient Egyptian vinegar jars.
Yeah, well,
like those ancient batteries they used to have that nobody to this day knows exactly what they were used for.
Right. Yeah, I think that was probably like a time traveler or something fucking around. Honestly, it's a time traveler trying to recharge their iPad to get back to the future. I don't know. But
if I put all this vinegar in this clay jar and then hook up.
It's like I have a cell phone app that lets me time travel, but the battery's dead, so I need to recharge real quick. How can I do that in ancient Egypt? Oh, I know. Anyway, because like they found like pyramids that look like they were used to mix chemicals that are used to make batteries. Like, you know.
That's what I was talking about. Those.
Yeah,
those,
and then they found the jars, like you said, that had like copper rods sticking out of them. You know, and it's like, what were they using? What were they using electricity for? Like, you know. So yeah, it's like the biggest.
It gets dark in the place, and they got to keep the lights on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but you know, ancient Egyptian iPad. Anyway. But yeah, so like, it's just something where there's quite a few little things like that, but yeah, like let me but yeah, like it was really interesting, like the thing, because I didn't read the whole article. I just actually just kind of like skimmed over people's comments about it. But let me take a look here real quick. Come on. All right, let's see history. Come on. All right. Okay, let's see here. Ah, jeez. Trying to find this thing, and I'm not having a lot of luck here, but anyway.
This my thread, I made a thread on VP and I just called it competitive Pokemon is a joke, and 311 replies before it got archived. and it was like the thesis was made right off the bat. It was, don't cheat. Don't cheat in Worlds, or at the very least, don't get caught. Right. And they spent the remaining 310 posts bitching about how they should be allowed to do so. And
right.
This is a great thread.
Right.
Like I'm kind of turning it into a meme, like about competitive Pokemon, because it really does just feel like it's just
right
out. Like it's just a joke. Like it's not worth getting into. Like, I don't feel like anybody's, like, with the knowledge of how many people cheat now, it's like, why would I ever want to get into VGC? Why would anybody
right.
get into VGC now? Like, and they're like, well, no, it's Nintendo's the ones gatekeeping because they're forcing us to play. And it's like, it's, part of what Pokemon is as a franchise.
Right.
Like,
you play the game, you raise the Mons, you battle with them. That's how it works. Like, I honestly feel like, one of the hack checks that they should do is they should look at how many hours somebody spent in the game, and be like, did you actually like spend all this time in there, or did you just like.
Oh, Kurt's Cathotics, the guy that made PK Hex, he actually does keep he keeps tabs of this shit. Like he knows who's hacking, like he knows like what they're doing and shit. And even he found like the whole situation to be laughable. Like, and he posted his numbers today. That's kind of what happened. Like he posted the numbers of the percentage of players that from each country that were cheating, and they found out 95% of all Japanese players are using completely legitimate teams, compared to other countries like Italy.
Right. Yeah, and then Americans are like, oh, well, that's just because they don't have as much access to it.
No, it's a culture of cheating that It
Right.
just it's like because
Culture
they're
of cheating
basically
versus
told-
culture of honor. Yeah.
like basically because they think that Pokemon's an easy game, like
Yeah.
and that it is, and you know they think that it's an easy game, anybody could do it. They spend all this time on fucking Showdown, and it's like, and they think that they're hot shit because of that. It's like it's not fucking the same. Like,
Right.
like the cart battles for starters doesn't have the same. It doesn't have the same rules and regulations, I guess. Like it doesn't have the same. It doesn't ban shit like Smokeout does. Like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like I would prefer, like, if these people, like, if they're gonna be just like, if they're just Showdown kiddies who think they can get good, like, I would prefer they just stay to Showdown. Like, there's
Right.
no, they are not entitled to go to Worlds. Like, they
Right.
don't have to go there. And if they wanna participate, they can't just sit there and say, it's like, well, I'm just going to ignore the rules I agreed to upon the competition. Like, okay,
Yeah.
then stop bitching and get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're just going in, like, this whole thread's been going in circles about it because it's just, well, what if they endure, or what if they allowed hack checks and shit? It's like they're never going to do it. So just, do the word. Like,
Mhm.
Like, it really does feel like going in circles with these people because it's like they just don't want to get it through their heads that, yeah, like, people do not want cheaters in their sport, and it's just
Right.
making the sport look terrible.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is, those same people will also bitch about, like they'll sit there and put a fucking hydro pump on their mon and then bitch when it misses. And it's like, if you don't want to miss, put a more accurate move on. And they're like, because like you look at these guys on Showdown, and they're always like, oh man, you're just lucky that I missed that fucking hydro pump, and it's like, that's not a bug, that's a feature. Like,
Yeah, I
like,
mean, RNG.
You get even more saltier if they miss stuff like play reference snarl.
yeah, but
But RNG is part of the gameplay. It's why Pokemon will
Right.
never be a truly competitive sport.
right. Well, and I always tell
Sorry,
people,
I love Pokemon. Don't get me wrong.
right,
But it's just, I understand. It's like there are too many factors that are actually going to go into play that keep it from being truly competitive.
right.
Like,
Well,
it was like when Smash Bros added fucking tripping. Like, their whole thing was they didn't want it to be a competitive sport either, and it was all of the fans bitching and moaning because they wanted it to be hardcore and everything. That fucking wave dashing had to be added back into Smash Bros.
mhm.
Like, this wasn't even originally a feature of the game, and it's just that hardcore fucking scene ruined the game for casual players. It's like,
Yeah.
the whole point is that it's supposed to be for casuals, not for the tryhards.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but Smogon is meant for tryhards. Like,
Well, here's the thing. Smogon isn't even meant for VGC. Smogon is meant for singles.
Yeah,
Because Smogon mistakenly believes that singles is somehow balanced and should be a legitimate competitive format, and it's not. Because singles, it's really, 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 really easy to just build up a Pokemon and sweep with it. Like, that's what 99.99% of single strategies are, is just, get one Pokemon really strong and then sweep with it. That's it. Like, that's what these people do. Like,
hey, now, my team was an ice team. I can't sweep with an ice team.
yeah, no, like, well, the thing is, you can sweep with a freaking Magikarp if you do it right. Like,
Yeah,
I've seen people do it. So you can sweep with
a lot of
anything.
people do it.
But it's something where these people that think that they're like, what I hate about Smogon isn't the fact that it exists or that there's people that there's rules and everything, is that these people will go on like online battles for the main game, right? Like, not on Showdown where everybody has to play by Smogon rules or anything like that. And they will do a battle on the main game, and then they'll get upset because you're not following Smogon rules.
Yeah.
It's like, bruh, Smogon rules are not official rules. they're not even good rules. Like,
Yeah.
The same opponent disconnects.
right. And it's just something where the whole point of Smogon is like rules are only a thing when everybody agrees to follow them. When you have people who are breaking the rules, it ruins the game. You know, like that's why people don't like cheaters. Just period. Like, so when you have a set of rules that everybody can agree to follow, that's going to lead to a game that everybody can play and enjoy. When you have a few people cheating, it makes less people want to play that game. You know.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying. Cause it's like,
Yeah.
because I don't want to play VGC if people are cheating, and it's like,
Yeah.
but it's like that's what happens. It's like, and they think it's like, well, you should just cheat too. It's like, well, I don't want to cheat. I shouldn't have to cheat.
Right. Well, and the thing is, Nintendo has spent all this time making it to where you don't have to. Like, people who cheat in Mons these days, it's like, you realize that I could build that same Mon in game without having to do any codes or hacking or transferring or anything in like 5 seconds. You know, like the only thing that's going to be tedious is maybe shiny hunting it if I want a shiny version. You know.
Yeah.
Like that's the most tedious part now, because they've literally made it to where you can change natures, abilities, EVs, IVs in seconds. You can level something up from 0 to 100 in like 2 seconds. It's easy as fuck. Like, there is literally no reason to hack anything anymore. It's really like, there's really no reason for it. And these guys are like whining about like, oh, but I shouldn't have to play the game to be able to, like, fuck you. You know?
Yeah, there are too many greedy fucks out there who hack in shinies for no godforsaken reason.
Right. But yeah, like, it's something where I feel like if they started like cracking down on these players like hard, like looking hard at their game's data and going, it's kind of weird because it says that you did all of this stuff within like 2 seconds of each other. Like you've got like completion flags for all the main stuff in the game within like a couple seconds of each other, and that shouldn't really be possible under normal gameplay. How'd you do that? Like that type of thing. Like oh hey, how'd you end up with with 8,000 master balls? Like just questions like that, that could go a really long way towards telling somebody to fuck off. Like just kick a few cheaters out of the tournament. Kick them out for cheating instead of like accidentally laughing at a pronoun question. Like something that actually fucking matters to the game rather than somebody's hurt fifis.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's just too many people who just want to whine and gripe about it. And it's like, like there was a guy in the store the other day. He's like, "Oh man, My Hero Academia has the worst community in anime," and I'm like, "Man, the Pokemon community's right there." Yeah. Like, and I know it's partially it's mostly a video game community, but there's the anime people too. They're like, "Oh man, Ash should have sex with Latias." It's like, no, stop.
No,
no. Just, like 1,020 times no. Anyway, but yeah, it's just so yeah. Like there's plenty of there's plenty of that in the anime community too. There's just Yeah, I really wish that they had better hack checking on their stuff. Like, like what if instead of putting the hack checking on the game card itself, what if they had like a machine that they had to hook it up to at Worlds that would just check for certain unusual activity, and if they found it, boy, were you in trouble. like.
Sorry, I got pulled away for a minute.
Oh, no problem. But, I'm not saying that would be easy to implement. I'm just saying that it would be fun. For me. They could have, like, a whole big thing at the beginning where they, like, announce all the cheaters and, like, put a spotlight on them and show them on camera. Embarrass the shit out of them.
I mean, let's be real. As much as I thought it was stupid at the time about people getting upset about Ray Rizzo, it was just kind of a symptom of a greater problem. Like seeing basically when he was caught cheating, it was like, well, he was one of the bigger guys, so it was like, why didn't they start doing an investigation then? It was like, and because they just let it go on for so long, it was like people thought they could just get away with it. Like
Right.
It was like it would never come up, is what they thought. And they got too cocky.
Right.
Simple as that.
It's like Billy Mitchell, that whole thing.
Millie Mitchell, that fucking dude.
Yeah, no, like he's such a joke now. Yeah, like just
He wouldn't have made himself into such a fucking joke if he would have just not decided to sue every fucking person who called him a cheater, because half of those cases got him laughed out of court.
Right. I mean, it's something where and not only that is the thing is, the guy, if the allegations are true and there seems to be some pretty compelling evidence to support it, don't want to get sued by the guy, but it seems like he just got addicted to the fame of being the king of a couple of different video games that he was actually good at, and so he started just sort of massaging some of these playthroughs and whatnot, to make it seem like he was better than he actually was, like his there was a Donkey Kong playthrough that people were like, nah, this was done on MAME with save states, and you could tell because this, that, and the other thing, it had like...
Oh, no, it was... What it was is, they had him, or he actually used a real arcade cabinet to play the game, but what they were finding was, when they showed the video evidence, he was, shaving the insides of the arcade sticks, because what that would do is it would give you just a little bit more of speed.
Yeah. Well, no, because he had a...
that on a GameCube controller, too.
Right, but no, he...
And actually, Smash Bros. Hackers do that all the time. If they want to increase their speed, they'll just shave off a little bit of the controller and it'll just give them a speed boost in Melee. Huh.
But no, because there was a Donkey Kong playthrough that he had that was sus. Because there's a randomization element to the points in that game, and there were people who reviewed the game footage, and it was allegedly, he said that he recorded it off of an arcade machine, but when people were looking at the footage, they're like, the arcade board, when it goes to the loading screen, doesn't load that way. That's a MAME loading screen, And so they were looking at it, and they said, they said that this is spliced together footage using a playthrough and multiple save states where he would get the best points, then create a save state, and then do the next part and get the best points, and create a save state, get the best part. And he would do that over and over again, and then he spliced everything together to look like one coherent playthrough. So
I don't know. I understand wanting to cheat for, like, I understand people wanting to cheat and get the glory of it and everything. But it's like, once you get fucking exposed as a cheater, it's like your fall from grace is so much more fucking shameful.
Right.
Like, I don't see why it's even worth it. Just have some fucking skill.
Well, for him though, it's not just about the glory of it. He was making money off of his reputation as a video game wizard.
Yeah,
he would do like appearances and stuff like that. So it's more than just he was really addicted to winning. He wanted there's financial gains to be made there too. And like I remember when I was a kid, I bought a VHS tape, and it was from Skip Rogers, who was a guy who won like the World Video Game Championships one year, and he put out like a series of like 3 VHS tapes, and each one was like tips and tricks for like 5 different video games, and the one that I bought was like Mega Man 2 and Metal Gear and like Wizards and Warriors and like all these other games and
Frozen books.
Yeah, and it's like nowadays people would just do that shit on YouTube, but back then during the 80s it's like, here, buy my VHS, but yeah, so it was a way for him to kind of cash in on whatever notoriety he had for winning a video game competition, So yeah, that type of shit.
That's telling, man. It kind of sucks having grown up with morals because nobody else has them. They seem to be getting further in life.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. There was actually this book, and I can't remember the name of the book, but it's by Ayn Rand.
Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah, there it is, Atlas Shrugged. And there's like all these politicians and businessmen who have read it and are, all successful and shit because they've read it. And they hail her as a genius and whatnot. But basically, it's about like being selfish. Like that's what the crux of the book is. You should be selfish and keep everything for yourself and fuck everybody else. Like.
Speaking of books like that, you ever hear of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad?
No.
By any chance? It was one of those books, like a lot of those like self-help gurus and shit. They'll tell you it's like, I read this book and it changed my life. I own this book, by the way. Right. This book is basically like the anecdote about how this guy, it's like, yeah, my friend's dad was really fucking rich, so I got a lot of free shit because of him. It's like, yeah, no shit. You had a fucking friend who had a rich dad. Like, no fucking shit, man. Like, it didn't really say anything that was brand new. It's like if you have connections, you will go far. It's like, well, no fucking shit, man. Like,
right? Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. Like, I just felt like, but the thing is that the guy who wrote that book, he made fucking millions selling it. And he didn't just by telling people nothing they didn't already know. It's just he packaged it in a pretty little thing and gave it a nice little name that people can fucking be like, just it rolls off the tongue so well. Rich dad, poor dad. Like, no, it's just a story about a fucking leech who had friends that he mooched off of.
Yeah, right. All of the mooching.
I don't know. I don't even remember how I ended up with that book either. Like it's just one of those ones that sits in my collection.
Yeah.
But I can tell you one thing. Regardless of what the people who made that book say, it did not help me gain riches.
Right.
I should probably play this game. Is Solus still here? Is he still online?
Don't know.
Solus, get on for like 5 minutes so I can shoot you.
Come out here so I can shoot you.
I'm calling you out. I'm the only person who finds it amusing that even though Disney Plus is going under, and all these Marvel movies and shit that they've put out in the past couple years have been doing poorly, and there's a writer's strike going on. Despite all of this, Disney is still making announcements for new fucking Marvel movies and TV shows.
Right.
Like, if your actors and your writers aren't going to agree to do it, how the fuck is this show going to come to fruition?
Right.
Like, I would think I would worry more about securing these people first before they worry about getting a new fucking show greenlit. I guess you can't stop the fucking train from rolling.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
They're like, oh, we're announcing, what did they say? Thor 5 just got fucking announced today. It's like, how? Chris Hemsworth is fucking on strike.
Yeah. They're just gonna wait until he's done.
Yeah, it's like we expect this temper tantrum to be over in a couple weeks. It's
Right.
no big deal.
Oh man.
Like they're not, like, the Hollywood execs aren't taking it seriously enough, I feel. I mean,
Right.
it's and now I think what the worst part is that even the fucking Actors Guild is starting to they're starting to waver on this whole thing. Like, I say waivers actually because it ironically they are now starting to offer waivers to certain actors to allow them to have acting, and it's like that defeats the point of the fucking strike.
Right.
Like if you're gonna defeat your own purpose, you've already lost.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Like, so I don't see this strike going on for much longer, but at the same time, I also don't see it being, having any sort of benefit to anybody outside of some rich asshole that, like, all he does is green light shows.
Yeah. Oh man.
I love how interconnected your castle is now.
Yeah.
Like, I come down, walk through the halls, and all of a sudden I'm down in your little basement,
Hmm.
and all I gotta do is just through this door over here, and I'm back upstairs.
Yeah. Well, and like this tower that quote unquote had no purpose earlier. Like now I put a door here so that you can come out onto this little balcony with the pixel art, So you can climb up to this part of the tower here, and then just walk out the door, and then you can just head over to the kind of the edge of this deal right here, and you can see the pixel art in all its glory, And I think that's pretty cool. But, I know I'm looking. So I'm looking at some pixel art to maybe do later, right? And there's some
all over here.
yeah, there's some nice Laharl pixel art from Disgaea, like
Cool.
some like Laharl and Etna stuff. So yeah, and I'm like, I could do something with that,
Speaking of, I could do something with that. I got my hands.
We got a level horror, man.
I got my hands on a link to the past engine for Game Maker. I can more or less make a Legend of Zelda game from scratch now.
Nice.
What I was thinking about was doing some sort of system with that and trying to implement that into Blabo's Bad Slap Day. Because like I was telling my brother, I was like, I need to have a move world map for it, and it might actually be more fun to have it be like an RPG map similar like Legend of Zelda 2, and the actual levels themselves would be like enemy encounters. So then I could even make it where like enemies, like when you encounter the enemies like in Zelda 2, like how you'll go to that separate screen, and then I could have like each one of those separate screens you go to, those can be like in the individual levels. It's like I'm not sure exactly how I'm trying to, or if what I'm trying to say is getting across right, but yeah, like I don't know. I just kind of don't want it to be like a straight platformer, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think implementing elements of other games and stuff will actually help with that, because it's already got an RPG. Like the platformer already has an RPG system built into it. And like killing enemies and stuff will level you up. But at the same time, I don't have anything that would actually benefit an RPG system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking. It would be a lot easier to do it for, say if it were like an RPG sort of like top-down sort of system. I could probably think of something, or I could probably think of something with it. It's just I want to use the RPG system. I just don't know how.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the full fucking Zelda engine's there though. Like I noticed it had like all the weapons, all the armors. It even has weather effects, and I'm really happy about that. I already knew how to make your own fake weather and shit in Game Maker. I just thought it'd be. I just like that it's already there, so that I don't have to go through the effort.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
See what I think it's funny though. Like Game Maker 8.1 is what I'm using. What I have. It is. It's. You can find it online for free. I mean, if you do a bit of digging, but it's like Game Maker's the easiest. Like if you're getting started making video games, just use Game Maker. If you want to do a proof of concept, just use Game Maker.
Yeah.
like I'm so used to it. Like it's the program I've been using since I was a teenager. So it's like I can crank out fucking stuff in Game Maker in like no time.
Yeah.
I need to make more fucking arcade games. Like I need to make an actual fucking like a quick and easy sort of game, like I did with oh shit, I never told you guys the name of the one I made that got me into E3. It was this game called Super Runaway. But it was that game was garbage. Honestly, I can't even lie. It was, but because I made it in 5 hours. But the whole gimmick with the game was like it was like a space shooter, like asteroids. But whenever you would shoot an enemy, instead of what it would normally do, where enemies usually blow up when you shoot at them. In this game, whenever an enemy would get hit, they would split in 2. And the gimmick of the game was to fill the screen up with as many enemy mobs as you possibly could before you died. Like, and every time they split, like that would be a point added onto the counter. But it was, a simple little premise. I've seen a couple games actually come out here in the past year that actually take my concept and run with it. But yeah, that was that was my first game that actually got me any sort of notoriety.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to be able to go back and make stuff like that again, like just quick and dirty little arcade style games that nobody thought to do before.
Yeah.
My only real mistake was making that game free to download and never charging anybody for it. So I'd probably have charged $1 like the Flappy Bird guy did and make bank off of it by now.
Right. Well, one of the things that I've been seeing a lot lately is you see these fake ads, right, for these mobile games.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, it's like all math based, it's like a thing where you go out and there's there's like an army or something, and then you're basically you're like there's like little times 2s and whatnot, and you build your army up by stepping on the different math things, but you can also there's also minuses and shit, or sometimes it's like you're going through a castle and there's that type of shit. So it's but they're all fake. You go to play the actual game and it's completely different, and then that little segment's like this really minor mini game that you almost never get to play, But it's like, man, I'm like, man, why doesn't somebody just make a game that works like that? That's actually like how you play the game, and
somebody actually did. I've seen a YouTube video about that. Somebody actually went out and made a bunch of quick and dirty games like that, where it's just they literally make the game that's in the advertisements for the shitty mobile games.
Yeah.
And they make them into full versions of games.
Yeah. Because I was looking at that and I was like, what if you made a game like that was just a really easy, rudimentary, castle exploration type game where you have and see, here's the kicker for what I was thinking about, right? Because this would be a way that you could actually make money, right? Basically, what you could do is you could make a game where it's like I said, like a castle exploration type game where you have a limited number of keys to open doors and look at stuff, and you have items that will reveal what's beyond the door before you open it, that type of thing, so you don't waste your keys and stuff like that. So it becomes a thing where instead of knowing exactly which way you need to go to get the +1s and the +2s or whatnot, you're just kind of fumbling around blindly, but you can open the door and see what's in there before you run in, but like I said, you're using up resources, and then you could have you could have the resources replenish over time, or you could have microtransactions where they replenish more quickly, so it's not it's one of those things where you don't have it's not where you have to play to pay to win. It's just a time-saving, convenient thing, you know. You know, and then, but like I said, the game itself could be like really simple, you know. Like, you know, you could either have like a really rudimentary game, or you could try to put like really cool like animations and graphics and shit in there, and you know, make it really nice to look at too. But you know, you don't have to, you know. Like, and I feel like something like that like could do really well, you know.
I mean, because honestly, like, my thought is it's just like, I don't know, like, I've been making games for 24 years now. Holy shit. but it's like I've never profited off of any of the fucking games I've made, and I went to college for this shit. Like,
Right. Well, that's what I was talking about. Like, if you could make like a simple, rudimentary type of game, and just put microtransactions on it. And when I say microtransactions, they would be like microtransactions. You know, like pay $1 and get like, you know, however many keys or whatever. You know, like whatever it is you need most to progress. You know, like
my thing. It's like I'm more. I don't know. I think it's because my like when I make video games, like, it's not that I get burnt out on it quickly so much as it is. It's like I get overwhelmed by some of the programming aspects. Like, if I get stuck on something, like a specific spot in like a game or something, I'm trying to figure it out, and I can't figure it out, I will stop there. And that's kind of my problem. It's like because if I don't have the tools to figure it out, or if I don't have like a tutorial that can show me how to do it, it's like, well, I'm dead in the water. Like, if I can't figure it out, then I'm fucked. And I've stopped working on a number of games for that very reason. Like, I've got so many fucking like things that I've never released just because I've never been able to finish them. Like, and it's
which is why ROM hacking is so attractive, because you've already got a finished working game engine, you know, that has minimal glitches in it.
Yes, and I find myself constantly saying it's like, no, don't go back to ROM hacking, because, you know, it's just putting you back in that cycle. Like, because, you know, I can't make shit off of ROM hacking either way. Like, no matter what I do, I can't make shit from it. So the least I can do is try to make something original.
Yeah.
And, that was where Super Runaway came in. Like, that was pre-Clover. That was pre Caps Lock.
Yeah.
But it was like, that was its own original thing, and I would love to do more. I would love to do more small games like that. Like, I don't want.
Okay. Aquan said he got Switch Online working again. So.
Oh, good.
So yeah, that's good. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but anyway.
Oh, you're fine.
But
3 months this time, sweet.
But yeah, so yeah, like I said, it's just something where.
Alright, agree with her again.
Yeah. I think this pixel art that I did last week turned out really good, though.
Yeah, it did, actually. Like, I was kind of wondering, because when I was looking at the sprite for it, I was like, there's like 100 fucking colors here. How is he gonna do this?
Yeah. I think it turned out really damn well. Like, I kind of fudged it in a couple spots and used, like, you know, one color where there would have been two on the original, but, like, you know, I think it turned out better for it, honestly. You know?
Well, I mean, the thing is, though, is I work with NES sprites, like,
yeah,
and I'm used to, like, shading with NES, so it's like I've got fewer colors, so it's like, this is beautiful. Like, I love the way this looks.
Yeah, it turned out really nicely. Like, the way it was colored and everything, like, you know, I was worried about it because of the different colors and everything, and it turned out really well, I think. So, you know.
Yeah, it was my silly ass. I never built a pallet where you started working on it, but I guess you didn't need it.
Yeah, well, like, I just started working, based on what I had, and I was like, okay, well, we're gonna try and match these as close as I can, and like close up, it still looks like fucking nothing. Like, like when I first started working on it, I was working from the bottom up, and it's like, yes, it looks like absolutely nothing, and then as I kept going, it's just it's like, wow, it's really nice. But yeah, I found some stuff for Laharl and Etna, so maybe next week I'll start doing something on the other side.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
What we can do is we can have Toledo over here in his armor, holding his arm out, like, don't go.
Yeah, because there's
Oh, that.
yeah, like because we could put Toledo over here next to Ovalia. That's one of the things I was thinking about doing anyway. Was putting Toledo over there. Fucking douchebag. Anyway, fucking.
Hey now, all he did was take credit for a war that he had or that he didn't win. Does that make him a douchebag?
He did a lot of douchebag things. Anyway, he was learning from the best though. He had some really great teachers in douchebaggery. He learned a lot from them. But yeah, I would love to do like Harl and Etna over here, I think, and maybe Flan, fit the three of them. Because I found one. It was a thing with it's Laharl, Etna, Flan, and a Prinny, and they're all done up in like perler bead type deals, So, so it's like, and it's like, man, that's really kind of cool, So I might do something like that, or I might just do like some individual sprites and see what I can do. But yeah, I think it'd be cool. Have some Disgaea reps out here on this big ass billboard looking thing. Yeah. But yeah.
Our city will eventually be representative of every tiny little interest that we have.
Right.
I mean, all of our little sprite work, it's like we got like video game characters in like every fucking game now.
Yeah.
we got Digimon posters all over the city.
Right.
At least 2 black mages.
Right. Yeah, plus a black wizard. Maybe I should try to find a simple sprite I could do on this shield, like as an emblem. Oh man, but no, I was seeing some interesting like sprite things for like Kirby and shit. So like we can do some really fun stuff.
Oh my god, we don't have any Kirby stuff.
Like, yeah.
That gives me ideas.
Yeah, like let me. There was one that I saw earlier while I was looking at stuff, and it was really cool. Oh yeah, here we go. This one right frickin' here. Copy this. This pattern looks really frickin' good. I'll post it in let's see, put in general gaming. All right. But here we go. Look at this thing. That's a cool Kirby image right there.
Huh?
Not that big either.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that looks sick.
All right. And that would be easy to do in Minecraft. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the cutter ball.
It'd be too hard.
The two dark pink, or the 2 pinks for his skin's already like that's just the pink wood.
Yeah. Yeah, you could just use different pink materials because there's technically like a total of like 4 pinks in there. There's like the super light pink that's kind of around the edges. There's the slightly darker pink that makes up most of his body. There's the much darker pink that's like the shading, and then there's his cheeks. You know.
Yeah.
Gosh, circle.
And there's like the few different types of like
A big smile.
Yeah,
darker pink
Presto.
on the
it's
feet.
Kirby.
Yeah. And the feet, like the highlights on the feet are pretty much the same shade of pink as the darker pink that's like on his underside. So
Yeah, there's only there's only like 7 or 8 colors.
yeah, his eyes are pretty detailed
they're
too.
the most detailed.
Like
His eyes are the most detailed.
he's got like 2 blues, a black, a white in there. Like so. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So like. But yeah, like I feel like that sprite works really well. So I think that would be a really good one to do, because there are some simpler ones that you could do that wouldn't really take a lot of time. But I feel like that one in particular. Oh, this one's good. Hang on. I'm gonna post this one because this one kind of kicks ass. Hang on. Look at this. Boom.
Oh, that's the sprite from Nightmare in Dreamland.
Yeah.
Rainbow Rang.
That's a lot of colors.
Or is that Amazing Mirror? I don't know.
Yeah, it's really cool though.
It is cool. I give you that. It's the colors.
Yeah.
Damn, that 16. What is that? 16-bit or 32-bit?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure the Game Boy is 32.
I know there's
This one's really simple. Look at this.
Oh yeah, that's the.
Oh yeah, the original Kirby's Adventure sprite.
Warp Star. Oh, dude, this one's sick. Hang on.
Let me see.
Check this out. Boom.
That sprite looks like it's from Superstar Ultra.
Freaking Sword Kirby.
Yeah, the sword shape it's from Superstar Ultra.
I was gonna say Superstar Ultra and Nightmare in Dreamland use the same sprites.
It's just so freaking cool, though.
I'm like 80% positive that's from Superstar Ultra.
Oh, bruh. Some of these Kirby sprites, holy crap.
Turbos for days.
I know, right? This is a rabbit hole I didn't think I was gonna fall down tonight. Jeez. Like, this just kind of looks funny. So when it's not in motion, this is. Look at this. I don't think that would make good still sprite art, but it's interesting.
It's him doing the hammer flip animation.
Yeah, he's doing the hammer thing, but yeah, it's just not.
Nightmare in Dreamland / Kirby and the Amazing Mirror.
God.
/ Police Squad. There's
Do what you do.
They used the same Kirby sprite for 3 of those games.
You get the sprite of the hammer at the end swing, and you also get that sprite of King Dedede when he's got his fucking mouth wide open and his eyes bulging out.
Yes.
From I want to say that's in Nightmare in Dreamland when he gets damaged.
Look at this shit. Hang on. Lickatug for Smash, just so we could see this.
Oh my fucking. Okay. Kirby wanting to do
Kirby with his tongue sticking out Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Become tongue Kirby.
Yeah, look at this shit. Boom.
Yes, Cook Kirby. Of course.
Freaking.
Another sprite that's used in Nightmare in Dreamland. Actually, no.
This just showed up randomly, but I'm going to put it in there because the sprite looks really good.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I'm going to put that somewhere.
Right? That don't look bad.
Right.
by 32 Sprite. This can be done.
Yeah.
I think the only real issue would be the colors, because there's really only one each Minecraft block.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I feel like you can get a by like substituting like sand and like some other shit, but yeah, it's kind of
Still a good Sprite.
yeah, like because there's various things that you can use to kind of fake it, which is oh this damn, hang on,
Oh.
this one's good. Look at this shit.
Nice.
The suck.
Yeah, they suck. There's so much good pixel art for this character.
Yeah,
It's almost like he was a pixel character for most of his gaming career.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
It's amazing how much good sprite art
they had a lot of
originally a place.
Kirby games for the DS.
Yeah.
And such.
There's
Superstar Ultra, Canvas Curve, Mass Attack.
so much good Kirby. Holy crap.
Yep.
Now imagine if it would have stayed yellow.
The last game they ever
no.
had Kirby pixelated in a game was Mass Attack, actually. Because after Mass Attack, they made Kirby's Return in Dreamland, which was on the Wii.
Oh, jeez.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. The Kirby games that were on the 3DS, I never played it all the way through. I thought the levels were too bad. Like, I play Kirby games because they're short and simple, not because the levels take me 20 minutes because I have to find every fucking little secret item. Like,
Oh, that
and
looks nice.
I love Kirby games, so it's just I don't play them for their difficulty.
Right. Alright, hang on a second.
I wonder what this means. Somebody put a message on my or I got a
There we go.
comment. I got a comment on my Caps Lock Plays
Oh, cool, they animated it.
video. But they were like the comment, I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck it means. It just says promo SM.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Oh, yo. I like that animated sprite. That's
Oh.
nice.
Yeah, the animated GIF with Kirby on the Warp Star. It's pretty sick. I like it. Oh, jeez. There's so many good Kerbos.
It's like, who would have thought that circles make the best characters?
Mm-hmm.
Just look at Blobos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There is definitely something to be said about how most most of these like cute characters tend to be like round.
Just like most monster mascots tend to be yellow. And I still can't to this day figure that out. Like that respect.
Well, it has something to do with the way we see colors. Because like, if you look at it, there's a ton of like really iconic characters that have really endured and stood the test of time that are primary colors.
Well, I get that, but
You know,
my thing is, it's like with monster video game mascots specifically,
Yeah.
they choose most of the time to be yellow. It's like with Monster Rancher, Suezo is yellow. With Digimon, Agumon is yellow. With Pokemon, Pikachu is yellow. With fucking card captors, the fucking little winged fucking thing, that's yellow.
Yeah, Caraberos.
Is that his name? I forget.
Yeah, his name is Caraberos, or Carol-chan. But yeah.
But it's like, it was just like something I've noticed a long time ago, and I've always thought it was just kind of funny how many of these, and like every time a new like new monster game comes out or something, I'm always expecting to see a yellow mascot.
Yeah, well, Yokai Watch came out and theirs was red, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, that was one of the rare instances where it was like, well, they were wrong, but then Yokai Watch didn't last for more than...
Yeah, it didn't last too long.
In.
Like, it kind of petered out after a while, but yeah, like...
Well, the problem was is that they were trying to market too heavily to the Japanese audience, and they needed that American audience too, but it was too off-putting for American audiences.
Well, here's my take on it. The American marketing for it was terrible.
I mean, there's that too, but I mean, at the same time, it's like it's kind of hard to sell like long-necked women and well, I mean, selling the dude that had like the fucking butt for a face would be easy to sell to kids, but it's like the other weird like yokai and stuff that they were basing it off of. Like it was just too, like, I figured it would be like
so
for kids.
Right. So there was that cultural disconnect between, you know, Americans not knowing what yokai was versus Japanese kids, but here's what I think really killed it, right? So when Pokemon came out, right, the advantage Pokemon had was that it was on broadcast TV, meaning that any kid in the entire country could turn on their TV and watch Pokemon for free. You know, it was on, you know, like broadcast TV affiliates, right? It was everywhere. Like, you couldn't get away from it. So that was the thing. And then Pokemon, in the lead up to it, they had a thing in Nintendo Power Magazine where they were doing like these little full color comic books that were basically just episodes that had been, you know, paused at various frames and then had voice bubbles added, you know. And so they had like the first like 5 or 6 or 7 episodes done in comics in Nintendo Power Magazine like that, in the lead up to the Pokemon anime launching over here in the US. So the anime launched, I think, like 2 weeks before the video games did, here in the US. And, you know, so everything was just built like this perfect storm to sell these games over here. And it was very successful. The marketing was very smart, very well done. Everything came together. And then the biggest thing, I think, this is something that I think a lot of people forget, and that's kind of underrated, but the voice actress that voices Pikachu has one of the cutest voices in all of anime, right? She has voiced some of the cutest characters in Japanese animation, right? She does the voice for Tony Chopper in One Piece. She did the voice for Gash Bell in Kanjiki no Gash Bell. She did the voice for Konohamaru in the Naruto anime. So she voices all kinds of really cute characters, and they were able to keep her as the voice actress for Pikachu because they didn't change its name, and they were able to use all of its original Japanese lines. You compare that with Yokai Watch, where they had the super cute voice for Jibanyan in the Japanese version, and then they had a somewhat annoying voice for it in the US version, you know. So it's just I feel like Jibanyan is a lot cuter subtitled than he is, like because it's part of the whole package, like so like the voice it plays a big part in it, and I felt like that was one of the Pokemon's big advantages because Pikachu isn't actually speaking; it's just saying its name over and over again. They were able to keep the Japanese voice actress's lines, and that was a huge advantage for them. Now. But you contrast that with the way Yokai Watch did their marketing, right? Because Digimon, when they came out over here, they did the same thing. They were on broadcast television. They were really smart about their marketing. They were trying to market it to to people that were watching Pokemon and stuff like that. Yokai Watch, on the other hand, they weren't just on cable. They were on paid cable, you have to be getting a special package to view that cable, so they weren't even as part on the basic cable package. So not only were they not on broadcast TV, but they weren't on even basic cable, right? So right there, your audience is really small. You're like, because hardly anybody wants to pay for cable anymore. So, but they were going to circumvent that by uploading the episodes to YouTube. They're like, oh, don't worry, because we'll upload an episode to YouTube a week after it airs, right? Well, that might not have been a big deal if they hadn't started airing the episodes out of order.
Huh.
They did like episode 1 and then skipped to episode 5 and then to like episode like 11 or 12 or something, and it was just jumping around, and it's
I know of at least 2 other shows that failed because of that very reason.
Yeah, it's like, are you idiotic or something? What the hell, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did that, and it's like anybody who's like looking at their YouTube channel trying to keep up with it, like I know I gave up really early, but it sucks because it had potential, but I think they squandered a lot of that potential on bad marketing, and then they. One thing that I really will give it to them on is that they were prepared for a frenzy. Unfortunately, that frenzy never materialized. Like, they had the toys on the shelves and the card games printed out and everything. Like, they were ready to go. But nobody else was.
That's kind of the problem, though. Well, that was kind of the problem. They were expecting it to be as big as Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, they were expecting it to be huge when they didn't do the marketing to make it that way. Like, they didn't do this. They were just like, it'll just catch fire on its own. We don't have to hardly do anything. And they just like sat back and they're like, why'd the fire go out? What happened? It wasn't, were you watching it? Was it your turn to watch it? I don't, they just, they like basically stuck a candle in the wind and expected it to start a bonfire, and it got blown out, So they just didn't pay attention to what made Pokemon's marketing campaign successful and try to emulate that, and as a result, they wound up with really terrible marketing that didn't do hardly anything right. So yeah, it's unfortunate that Yokai Watch kind of ended up the way it did. But like, even in Japan, it's like by the time it got over here, its popularity had already started to kind of peter out in Japan. So
yeah,
it was definitely more of like a thing. It definitely didn't have the staying power that Pokemon did. So it's just kind of a sort of an unfortunate footnote in gaming history at this point.
Oh, the real I mean, at least that got the chance to shine. I mean, there's other ones like Temtem that they never stood a chance.
Man, Temtem, I saw people getting all excited about it and stuff, but I never saw it available for download anywhere. I'm like, where do you play this shit? Like, you know, and then like whenever I did see people playing it, like on like I think Callum tried to play it a couple times and stuff. Like, there was always like server problems and people were disconnected all the time, and you know, so it's like I feel like there were people ready to play the game, but it's kind of like these trading card game launches that I was talking about earlier, where people are ready to play the game, but the game's not ready to have all these people playing it. You know,
Yeah.
you know, like, so, and when that happens, inevitably people get tired of the game not being available to play. You know, and they move on and they do something else, and then when the game is available later, they don't care anymore. You know,
And that's why I didn't bother with Temtem.
you know, so, and like I said, there's plenty of people, like, because the thing is, there are plenty of people that like the old Pokemon and hate the new stuff, and so there is a ripe market for somebody to come along and do something that's just similar enough to not get sued, and and just take all those people, you know, and however much money they want to get out of them, you know, like, so, you know, it's just something where they're going to have to, I feel like somebody is eventually going to come up with something that is kind of, that feels like that same type of magic that Pokemon had, and that, you know, that captures some of those original fans that don't like the 3D games and whatnot, and I think that franchise, whatever it is, will be very successful. But you know.
We just haven't found it yet.
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't exist yet. Like, it's something where somebody needs to come along, and because there's been people who have tried, but like, when you look at it, you can tell, like, okay, well, these, you know, like, it says there's 100 creatures, but like, you know, it's really like more like 20 something, and then like, you know, like 2 or 3 alt art remakes for like palette swap mons for every design, you know, like,
Or they just slightly alter the model a bit. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen that a few times. I mean, that happens a lot on which one is that? The Dragon Quest Monsters.
yeah. Well, at Dragon Quest Monsters, I'm actually really kind of interested in the next one, that Dark Prince one that they were showing off on that thing a couple months ago.
Like, I never really got into the Dragon Quest Monsters games, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I've never really tried them.
Yeah, I never really got into it either, but like I said, that one, I was looking at it going, you know, that doesn't look half bad, you know. So
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. It's like, I'd probably like it if I gave it a shot.
yeah,
Like,
so, you know, I like me some Dragon Quest. You know, it was funny because I was having a conversation with Siege the other day. You know, yeah, he's still off mourning his cat, but which is understandable. But we were talking. You know, we hung out and, you know, we watched the Rise of the Beasts Transformers movie and the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. The Rise of the Beasts I thought was actually decent. They had some decent stuff in there. Like, I'm not gonna say it's the best movie ever or anything, but they did an okay job with it. You know, it's definitely better than like most of the Bay films.
well, I
Yeah.
know, but at the same time, that's not saying much.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get that the bar is kind of low, but I think that they cleared it by a pretty significant margin. But anyway, anyway, because we got to talking about the Final Fantasy thing, because he played through the first like hour or so of Final Fantasy remake while Final Fantasy VII remake while I was watching. And he's like, oh, well, what do you think? You know, and I'm like, I think it sucks, you know, and you know, he was talking about how these, how other games sell better, you know, like other types of other franchises and other genres of games sell better than, you know, RPGs. And so I was like, okay, let's look at some actual numbers here. So like, you know, what sells better, the old Final Fantasies that I like, or the new Final Fantasies that I hate, and like sure enough, I pull up the some stuff on Google, and it's like, I look at the top 10 Final Fantasies, and none of this new shit's in there, like it's all old stuff,
Wow.
and and some of it you could be like, well, it's been around for forever, it's been re-released a dozen times, so like there's a little bit of like margin for error in there. I'm not saying it's like that, but like
I will argue like up to like Final Fantasy 12 honestly feels like a classic, but I will not for the life of me go back and play fucking 13.
Yeah,
like 13 was a fucking chore.
Right, 13 was terrible, and like I said, if you look at the sales numbers, they kind of agree. Like,
Yeah.
but if you look at it, like 14 is actually like really high up there. Like if 14 has done way better than 16 or not 16 but 15 and 13
it's
and
been around it's been online for a decade.
no 14 hasn't been around that long. Final Fantasy 14 because Final Fantasy 14 when it first came out, everybody hated it. And then they had to relaunch it after making extensive changes to the game. They called it Realm Reborn, and now it's a love letter to Final Fantasy as a franchise, right? And it's amazing. Like, so I think it was like number 2 all time in sales for Final Fantasy, and it's like, well, it's an MMO, but the thing is, Final Fantasy 11 isn't anywhere in the top 10. And it's an MMO that's still around today, that's been around even longer than Final Fantasy 14. So if it was just the fact that it was an MMO and it's been around forever, then Final Fantasy 11 should be at the top of the list. But that's not the case.
What's really funny is I remember when 14 was announced, I remember all the people who were playing 11. It's like, well, that's good because I fucking hate 11.
Yeah, well, and there were a lot of people that when I was playing 11, there were a lot of people that were like, "Oh man, I'm going to 14. I'm quitting this game."
Yeah,
and then 14 came out and it sucked, and they're like, "I'm back."
Hey, look, who's coming back?
But it's something, like I said, it's something where it was really interesting looking at the sales and at the sales numbers and everything. And the funny thing is that we also looked at Dragon Quest's sales, and because it seems like Square Enix decided, oh well, we can only there's only room in this company for one iconic RPG franchise, so we're gonna have Dragon Quest be that iconic RPG franchise, and then have Final Fantasy be something else. But if you look at Dragon Quest sales numbers, they're all shit compared to every Final Fantasy game. Like if you look at the top 10 best-selling Final Fantasy games, like in terms of units sold, and then you look at this top 10 Dragon Quest games, like you could put the entire top 10 together, and it wouldn't even it would barely even get close to the number 1 on the Final Fantasy list. Like,
is that true for Japan?
No, like it was worldwide sales. Like Dragon Quest's best-selling game is like Dragon Quest 11, and it's only sold like 5-6 million units. Like,
yeah, Dragon Quest at the same time was one of those games that they had to switch the release dates to Sundays because people kept taking days off of work to play it.
Yeah, no, in Japan for sure. In Japan, it's really popular. And the thing is, if you look at Dragon Quest 11 sales, like 5 million of those 6 million units 6 million plus units that it sold have been to Japanese people. So, so it's something where, the rest of the world doesn't care for it, and that's the difference. Is that the rest of the world actually does give a shit about Final Fantasy games, and doesn't really care too much about Dragon Quest, which is sad because Dragon Quest does make some really great games. I'm not saying Dragon Quest games are bad. I'm just saying that if Square Enix wanted to dump all of its eggs in one basket, it would be better to turn Dragon Quest into the guinea pig than it would to do it to Final Fantasy. But they were like, oh no, there's too many Japanese people that love the game, so.
Not enough Americans
Right.
love
Yeah.
Doge Rotundo.
Yeah, so, you know, but yeah, it's just something that it's something I found really interesting to look at, because it's something where, you know, because the thing is, one of the things that it shows us, though, like if you look at the Dragon Quest numbers, it shows us that those games are only increasing in popularity as time goes on. Because like if you look at the top 10 Dragon Quest games, it's almost like the ones at the top of the list are the newest ones, not the oldest ones. You know, so it's almost it's literally almost like just you're looking at it in reverse chronological order when you're looking at 1 to 10. You know, so that shows that RPGs are not lagging in popularity as more time goes on. It's the opposite. They're getting more popular, and they're just deliberately choosing to ignore it. You know, so, you know, because the thing is, Japan should be going like through a population shrinkage. You know, right now, like their birth rate is not outpacing their death rate anymore. So they are losing people every day. But yet the sales numbers keep increasing for RPGs. You know, so.
Hunger, I just walked past this place and a fucking raid started.
Oh no. Brr, 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 brr. Oh man. But yeah, I don't know. And like I said, then, you know, if anybody's got a problem with the numbers I'm quoting, they came from Google. I read a ton of different articles that had different numbers because they came from different times, you know. So, and I'm aware that those numbers are going to change over time, but you know, so the, you know, disclaimer there, you know, it's not, you know, I'm not pulling these numbers out of my ass. I'm just saying, you know, this is stuff that I just Googled real quick. I didn't do any harder research into it than that. And that's what I found, and I thought was interesting, you know, so, but yeah, like.
Oh, shut up, villagers.
just command kill them all. Fuck it. But
Oh, they all spawned right here. I have my arrows. I'm just sniping them.
Snipe the shit out of them. Ha ha, bitch.
There is no escape.
Pathetic fools! There's no escape!
Told you, telling you, insolent fools.
Man, Chris Latta as Starscream in that movie. Holy shit. There's one that I miss. His voice is so hard to imitate too. Like.
Oh, the original Starscream?
The original Starscream / Cobra Commander, yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that. If you want to blow out your voice, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah, he's like such an iconic voice talent, and you know, went way too young. So
F.
Yeah, very sad. F indeed. So. All right. Well, I think now's as good a time as any to go ahead and call this a completed podcast. So.
Podcast closed, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, we'll be back to gripe about more stuff next week. So look forward to that. And we might even do some more pixel art. That sounds great. I'm thinking maybe some Disgaea stuff, maybe some Kerbo. We'll see what happens. Anyway,
Kerbo and Disgaea. Shit, yeah.
I love you. Bye-bye. I want to thank everybody so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. And of course, as always, I hope everybody has a great day. Bye-bye.
Good night, your friend.